What's a time you caught a medical mistake just in time? When my mom slipped in the bathroom and hit her head, it didn't seem like a big deal at first. She was confused, but she insisted she was fine. I drove her to the ER anyway, more out of caution than panic. She was 64, sharp as a tack. A nurse took her vitals, asked a few basic questions, and told us to wait. It was around 11:30 p.m. The waiting room smelled like bleach and stale vending machine coffee. Mom kept blinking slowly, like she was fighting to stay awake. I mentioned that to the nurse. She brushed it off. Probably just exhausted. CT scan isn't needed unless she vomits or passes out. We'll monitor. But something felt wrong. My mom wasn't just tired, she was slurring her words and struggling to remember my name. I tried to explain this to the intake nurse again. She gave me a look like I was being dramatic. If anything changes, we'll reassess. A doctor finally came by briefly. He checked her pupils with a penlight and asked if she could smile. She did, though it was weak. He nodded like that settled it. Let's get her fluids, maybe something for the headache. I asked him directly. Shouldn't she get a CT scan? He waved it off. No vomiting, no seizure. Probably just a mild concussion. They moved her to a curtained-off space in the back. And 4 was started. I sat next to her, watching her slip in and out of consciousness. Every time she stirred, she asked where we were like she hadn't already asked 5 times. I flagged down a different nurse and asked if she'd seen the chart. She fell, hit her head, and now she doesn't know where she is. She hesitated. Let me check with the attending. 15 minutes later, no one came. But I noticed something that made my stomach drop. My mom's left hand was twitching just slightly like a pulse under the skin. I'd seen that before when my friend's dad had a brain bleed after a bike accident. He had a similar tremor just before he collapsed. I stood up, walked straight to the main desk and said, I need you to page a neurologist or I'm calling an ambulance to take my mom somewhere else. That got attention. Fast. The head nurse appeared, annoyed. Ma'am, you can't demand scans based on internet research. I'm not. I'm demanding one because my mother is showing neurological symptoms after a head injury, and no one here has actually checked her brain. A different doctor came over, not the first one, and finally ordered a CT scan. We waited another 30 minutes for the results. By then, Mom was barely responsive. The nurse said something about adjusting her fluids. I couldn't sit. I kept pacing, heart pounding. Then the doctor returned, eyes wide and serious. Your mother has a subdural hematoma. There's bleeding in her brain. We're prepping her for emergency surgery now. The world went silent. They rushed her upstairs. I wasn't allowed in. I sat in a plastic chair near the elevators, staring at the floor, feeling this awful mix of rage and relief. The surgery took 2 hours. When it was over, the neurosurgeon told me if we'd waited another hour, she could have slipped into a coma. Another 3 and she might not have made it. She spent a week in the ICU, then 2 months in physical rehab. It took a long time for her to get back to her old self. She still doesn't remember much from that night, just flashes. But she remembers me being there. The original doctor never followed up. I filed a complaint. The hospital called it a communication breakdown. No, it was dismissal. Arrogance. A refusal to listen. Now, every time someone tells me to trust the professionals, I think of that night. And I think no. Trust your instincts first.